I am so excited, Veronica, to have you back on. You are a friend of the Be the Solution podcast. You have been a personal guest before. And also, I don't know if you remember, but I had on you, Alicia, and Deborah. We did a podcast together back during, I believe it was during the height of COVID time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's so great to see you. I miss you so much. It's been way too long since I physically have seen your face in person.
I know it's crazy. First of all, I'm super proud of you. I mean, I love how you have just, stayed so true to the movement of being the solution. I remember when it was born, right? It was during COVID and you were in lockdown and here you are, the leader that you are. You brought this to light and I loved it. It's still something so near and dear to your heart. And yes, I miss you, girl. I love you. It's always so much fun when we get together, and virtual will work for today, but we got to definitely plan to get together
Exactly.
and like we do, just sit there and talk for hours.
Like we do. There's so much to talk about.
I
But
feel like so much to catch up on.
so much. But the Be the Solution podcast, it came from COVID, and it's all about, you and how you're the solution. And, my belief is, and many others, right? Like Buddha, for we use him. We all have the power to change our lives. And
Yeah.
that is something that I've seen you do over the years on your journey. We met, and I don't know if you remember this, but we met at the Remax convention. I wasn't even a Remax broker owner yet. I went to Ottawa. They flew me there, and they had you speak to me. And your life was so different then. I mean, things were so different. Even you look different. It was, I guess, now probably about 12 years ago. And that was our first interaction. I said, "Who's this lady?" You're like, "I have 5 kids." I'm like, "5 kids?" Like, "You look like you have 5 kids." And
Yeah, I remember that.
I remember sitting in the room and listening to you speak to the cohort of potential Remax broker owners and listening to your story. And then, of course, like I run after you, like down the hall or whatever we're doing, and like introduce myself to you after. And then, oh, wow, it's all history after that. We became good friends. So
yeah, it's been amazing. And I'm so, like I said, it's so crazy how you look back and like so much time has already passed by. And here we are. We grew up in real estate together, right? We grew up in the broker owner space together. And what I love is that even though our paths have changed, whatever that might look like in the brokerage space, the relationships have gotten deeper and deeper, the friendships. And I love seeing the evolution of, of who we become through this journey, right? Because although we may have, change jerseys or whatever our business might look like, the dynamic of our business, it's who we are as a person that really matters. And I'm just honored to call you a friend and witness your leadership. And, we've had so many late night conversations or conversations about life in general, the things that really matter the most. But it's fun. Real estate is what we do to fund our life. But the relationships that are deep just, make you a better person. So thanks for making me a better person, my friend.
Yeah, and you too. And that's what it's all about. So one of the things I've admired about you is your pioneering. I've seen you're a trailblazer, no doubt. And I love watching your journey. And I know it's not easy, and everybody thinks on social that it's all glamorous and sunshine and roses, and it's far from the truth. And most of the time, what we see on social is just it's a highlight reel. And really the work is done behind the scenes. And one of the things that, we talked about earlier was, growth through inspiration and daring to be different. And I think that you've really led the path on that. And so I want to unpack that with you today, Veronica, of, what that means to you and how'd you do it?
Yeah, I mean, thank you for sharing that. And it gets kind of chills thinking about it, because if we came on here and we were talking about an R, or we were talking about another listing appointment and not talking about just, buyers, I think I would say I'm not as passionate to talk about that right now than I am the reality that every single person has the ability to decide who they're going to be in business, how they're going to show up and build the life by design that they want, right? And a lot of times it comes through these crazy ideas and going against the grain, not falling victim to the status quo, and realizing that we all have our own authentic power. We all have our own story. And when we can be authentic and we show up and we go out there and share our stories and, put in the work, you never know who you're inspiring. You never know who you can help make that decision that can change their life, whether it is, starting a business, whether it is, taking the leap of faith to buy that dream home or start that career. But it's because they oftentimes can see a similarity in your story, and they can understand what what happens is you awaken an emotion in them that makes them believe that they also can do the same, but for their journey,
That bar
right?
belief syndrome, the bar belief
Yeah.
philosophy.
And for me it was always like, when I tried to be boxed in and be everything everyone else was doing, I was not living in my true authenticity, and I was miserable. When I made the decision that I was just going to be real, raw, me, myself, show up with my leadership style, be a daring leader that was willing to go against, like I said, the status quo, or what appeared to be the acceptable way of leadership or growth. And I made the decision, like, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm just going to be real, and I'm going to be myself. My life changed, my business changed. And I've always been someone that would look at things from a different angle. When everybody was, you hear cliches, when you zig, when they zig, you zag, but that is true. Like, I was like, if everyone's doing it that way, what are they not doing? What are the areas that I could, kind of think outside the box? And it wasn't that I didn't, if something works, I follow what works, right? I'm not saying I wouldn't do the things that work, but then I'm always, is there an angle that I'm not seeing? And I think for me in business, you mentioned my 5 kids earlier, when your back is up against the wall, or when you have a real need, you start taking action and you're willing to do certain things. And I have 5 kids, I was a single mother at one point, you know, the market crash in 2008. So I was always ready to do whatever it took to make sure that those 5 human beings that we were responsible for were going to be taken care of. And I'll never forget, Maria, sometimes in life something happens to you. It's a defining moment, right? It's those defining moments that you kind of will always hold on to and remember. And I think it was for me, just I was told, that's it. You're going to be a statistic for the rest of your life. Your life is over, And I remember when that was said to me, I made a commitment. I was like, no, this is just the beginning. I get to decide if my life is over. I get to decide how I do this. And I applied that in my business. And if you're obviously in real estate, it's it's a hard market. It's a hard industry. It's very rewarding, but it's not easy, right? The mental, the mental strength, the resilience you have to have. So for me, it was always like, okay, I'm willing to do hard things. I have already had my darkest day. So this is just one foot in front of the other, take one step at a time. And, like I said, be willing to adapt, be willing to learn what I can do. And for me in my business, it was like, okay, I have a lot of kids, right? I'm going to use the kids as an analogy. I have to be able to build my business fast and at scale and one to many. So I just, learned the art of farming. I went and I built relationship with business owners. I would go into rooms where they might say I didn't belong. And I was sitting there in front of executives with with the most passion, with the hungriest heart, probably not as conventional as one might think. But it was because I was willing to be unconventional, because I was willing to say, hey, I'm your girl. I can help you with this. We've got a team. we could do this. We're ready to deploy. We're ready to, handle your account. I was sitting in rooms with asset managers, praying that they would, give me a shot when the market crashed and there was no assets. And they were like, sorry, these are grandfathered in accounts. But I saw the agents that they were working with, and I was like, they're not hungry like I am. I'm like, they're not daring like I am. I'm willing to put in the work, right? And it wasn't judgment against them. It was kind of like this thing of like, once you got the account, you were coasting. Well, I wasn't coasting. I wanted more. I needed more. So I was willing to break down doors and get into rooms that I was like, I need to be in that room. Because on the other side of that room is the business that I need to work on. So and if I wasn't qualified, Maria, I got in the room. If you're unqualified, don't let that hold you back. Get qualified. And I would go in the rooms and I'd be like, okay, I'm listening, I'm observing, I'm watching, I'm admiring, I'm respecting those who have led the way before me. And then I'm like, okay, what can I learn from them? And I'm going to bring in my little secret sauce. And I'm not going to be afraid to ask for the business. And I'm also not going to be afraid to prove myself first before I earn the business. So I was a student, and I have always been someone that was willing to combine my passion. Once I made that decision, my passion, my extraness, that people say, she's a lot. Well, it's that a lot that has helped me in my business. So if someone says to you, you're too intense or you're too extra, own that and use it for good, because it's that passion. It's that energy that you bring to the table that can make people fall in love with you. And I have had leaders tell me, Veronica, it's your passion, it's your grit, it's your determination, it's the fact that you're relentless. You may not be the most qualified, but you're the most passionate, and we trust you. And that is how I have been able to bring, again, the reality of my personal life and how I hope I have been able to inspire people to not, let fear, or let's say that voice in your head that tells you you're not qualified, to prevent you from taking action in your business. And then again, being daring in your business. I was someone who pioneered some of the, beta test and with some big conglomerates, and, Zillow and you and I did a lot with them too. It's instant offers. We got a lot of backlash for that. The way I built my team, how it was an unconventional team, how I, was willing to walk away from my brokerage and do some things that most people at the time thought I was crazy. It's the permission that you have to do so on your terms and not do so the way other people expect you to do, I think is so important. Wherever you're at in your business today, if anybody's listening, for those that are listening, and anybody who's in a crossroad is saying like, I feel stuck, you just have to decide that you're no longer going to let that feeling of, limited beliefs hold you back, and you're just going to take action. And whatever the results are, right? You don't get tied to the outcome. You just, fall in love with who you become throughout that journey. What did you learn? What are some of the areas you could have, you missed some blind spots? Who are the mentors you should have had in your life? What are you not seeing, right, that you should have possibly taken into consideration? That's something that I would say has been so important in my journey, as I also have gone through this, this career and done some things. You said earlier, people see the highlight reel, right? They see all the things that we've done, but they haven't seen the invisible work. They haven't seen the failures, the anxiety and the stress that comes along with some of these choices that we make. But it's who we become on the other side of it has just been so amazing, Maria. I mean, I'm so proud. And what it has done for my personal life, what it has done for my relationships, for my kids, showing them what resilience looks like, for my marriage. You and I, my husband, and you've seen our journey. I apply the same thing in my life as well. But it's just because I've decided to live life, on my terms and be daring, be different, and hopefully I can be an inspiration to others. I know that was a lot.
That's a lot. And I love it. So if somebody is sitting there and they're not sure what to do, right? Right now, there's a lot of people in our industry who are struggling. Many. It's not even like 10%. It's many, many, many. And what's some advice that you would give to people who, really don't know what the next thing is for them?
Yeah, in our industry, I will tell you, now is not the time to, you know, stay silent. Now is the time to ask for help. Now is the time where we reach up and we ask for help, and we, find a mentor, join a team if your business is struggling. Even if you're a top agent and you don't want to be lonely anymore, maybe you need that partner. Maybe you need that person that's maybe doing a little bit better than you, for you to say, hey, like, I have something to bring to the table. I value what you bring to the table. What would a world with us look? What would the world look like if we did something together? Because during times like this is where we are stronger together. I know some people, just internalize the stress that comes along with change and adapting. And I want to give people permission to pick up the phone. Pick up the phone. If your business is struggling, call someone who is, perhaps a little bit, couple steps before you, and get with them. Right now, if you're a broker owner, you should be looking at your PNL. You should have already cut a lot of the unnecessary fixed expenses, and you want to have as many low variable expenses that aren't, that aren't these huge spikes in your business, that you can kind of put a reasonable percentage to. But broker owners, it's hard right now. You got to recruit. If you don't know how to recruit, call someone who knows how to recruit and who can help you. And if you are a broker owner or a team leader that has to get back into production, there's no shame in that. There's no shame in that. And rally your team in, and talk to your people and let them know. If you're an agent that's been out there by yourself and doing this by yourself, but you're burnt out, you're lonely, you need culture, you need community. Everybody needs that. Don't be afraid to pick up that top agent, pick up the phone and call that top agent or that coach in your market and ask for advice. And, right now, Maria, I have 4 new rock stars that we are talking about building expansion partnerships together, because, they've wanted to grow their teams, or maybe they haven't been able to kick it off, or maybe they don't want to do it alone because they've tried it alone. Or they're ready to partner because there's opportunities that we have that are in alignment, and we're rethinking the way we want to do business together in the future. So don't be afraid to open your mind to the possibilities, for those that are winning in this market, in this season, to see what winning together would look like. That is so important. And I just want people to have an open mind. And this isn't about my brokerage, anyone else's brokerage. This isn't about someone being better. This is about us coming together as an industry right now. The good ones stick together, and the good ones want to help others thrive. So I would say this is the moment where you phone a friend, you raise your hand, you humble yourself, you ask for help, and you learn from those in the most humble manner that are doing, let's say, a little bit better than you. And instead of envy or resentment, you look at that as inspiration as to what's possible. And like you said, borrow that authority. Proximity is power right now. And stay open to learning, stay curious, don't be closed-minded. And for me, again, it's being extremely positive, even in the hardest times. I've been tapping into my faith. I'm very, very vocal about, what I'm going through in my life. My mother has been sick, and our whole life changed this year. 6 months into the year, we've been doing nothing but dealing with, her health, and my life completely changed. And what I've done more of, Maria, I've got into more partnerships where I can get my time back so I can spend time with my loved ones. And the business that I've built, I can share with them, for them to carry on the torch and continue to grow it, because they have more momentum, more energy right now than me. And I'm focusing on the areas and the spots that I'm really good at. So, I've also made sure that I've got really crystal clear on what brings me joy. And of course, not everything is always roses and butterflies, but it's important also to know, like, what am I really good at, and focus on that as much as I can. And then the areas that I'm not good at, then, what are some of the adjustments, or who are the people I can bring into my world that can help me in that area that I'm not really, let's say, skilled at, or it's not my superpower. But yeah, I hope that helps anyone who's kind of going through some things right now and thinking about what's next for my business. hope that can give them a little bit of guidance.
100%. I think a lot of people are going through a lot. I think our industry, even for people like us, Veronica, I think that, with all the things that it was already hard. It was already not an easy industry. People see only one part of it. And as there's more things layered on top of it, it becomes even more so. And I think for the short term, it's going to be more difficult. And I think you have to think about the long game. How long
Yeah,
do you
we are
plan to?
playing the long game. I mean, we're 100% playing the long game. And if you're looking for instant gratification, instant success, business is a roller coaster. Sometimes you just going really, really fast. You're excited, and then sometimes you take some dips, and your heart's coming out your chest, and things feel a little bit wobbly and tense. But once you get to the end, you're like, oh, that was worth it. That
It
was
was
worth
worth
it.
it. I made it through. So I want to segue into something else because I think it's really cool what I saw you do. So you were Remax for years and you left, and um, since it's my podcast, I can talk about whatever I want. So you left and you joined partnerships with EXP, and then you opened up Puerto Rico. I like to talk about that and what that was like, and I thought it was cool personally.
Thank you.
Some of the
Thank you,
things
friend.
that
I think every once in a while we do things in our lives that, you know, mean more than just the money, mean more than just, another feather in our cap. It's usually the significance of what it means to, maybe your family or, your culture or, just something that's so near and dear. It's so personal. And, I'm Puerto Rican. My parents left Puerto Rico because my father went into the military. My mom was an entrepreneur. And my mom is the most proud Puerto Rican woman you'll ever meet. And my dad as well. And they always wanted to get back there. And when we had the opportunity to open Puerto Rico, and by the way, we've helped open Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, footprint in Dubai, footprint in Italy, Spain, and some other cool countries, Mexico, Colombia, you name it. But Puerto Rico was a special project that me and my friend, we took on together, and we learned how to open a country. And we were able to rally the leaders, the movers and shakers, find the country leaders that we wanted to use align with to open the country. We worked with corporate, we worked with the entire global team to find out, if it was a market that could obviously benefit from this partnership. And it was so much fun. I learned so much, but for me, it was really personal. It was about, wow, first of all, I love my culture. I love my island. I also love real estate. And I really think that, the island still has a lot of room for, growth when it comes to the profession. We have some great agents out there, but there were some limited resources, and I knew, and just kind of some antiquated ways, things that are beyond the agent control. But like I said, what if we could be the solution to, right, pushing the industry forward on the island? What if we could be the solution to bring a new innovative approach to the island? And what if we can bring these leaders together and show them what we built and what's possible? And we took it upon ourselves. And today there's almost 200 agents. The country leader is a personal friend of mine. He's, in our organization, and he has now helped other countries like Dominican Republic open. But it was so much fun. But for me, it's been personal. And to watch the first icon agent, become the number one team in the global division of our company out of our island, and now also the number one agent out of the Caribbean region as well. Be friends of mine, partners of mine. It gives me chills just watching what they're doing, watching them, learn from us and adapting our style of business over there, and we're learning from them. To me, it was personal. It was rewarding, and that was a passion project. And now, Maria, I have over, close to 2,000 partners all over, not only the US, but, now I could say the world. And for me, global growth has become a real passion project that, of course, rewards us. But it was important to me because, I could feel like I fulfilled a little legacy for my family. My mom was an entrepreneur, and unfortunately, she gave up entrepreneurship because she just didn't have the business acumen or the support or the mentorship at the time. And I want to carry her legacy out while also being tied to something that's so significant to our family, to to the island that I used to go to every summer as a little girl. I never felt Latina enough because I was the girl, the cousin that lived in the States. But here I felt too Latina,
Right.
where I also got rejected because I was Latina. So for me, this was so important, so important. And
I
as a
know.
woman
I
that
know.
has accomplished so much in real estate, I would say, and I say this with humility, and a Latina woman, I have so many friends of the business that no matter what part of the world they are, if they're Hispanic or they have some sort of Latin roots, I know I've played a small part in, I hope, giving inspiration to showing what's possible. But no better place that I'd rather have an impact than in Puerto Rico. And I'm grateful Puerto Rico has embraced me. The leaders there, my colleagues and the real estate community there have given me love, and they've taught me so much. And I just want to honor them. And it was my way of giving back.
I know. I loved it. I love watching it. I love seeing it. And I know it had a special place in your heart. And so you
And
can,
I love real estate there. If you have never bought real estate there, it's amazing. My husband and I have bought 3 properties. We just acquired our 4th property over there. We sold a couple. I mean, the actually 5 properties. And the real estate game over there is so amazing. It's a hidden gem. If anybody ever wants to know, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much opportunity out there. And it's, it's a U.S. island, so like there's so many cool things like VA, FHA conventional. There's so many perks as well if you tap into the tourism, into the tax incentives, into the hotel incentives. So to me, I'm like excited not only for the island, but I'm excited for my friends also that don't know about how amazing Puerto Rico is to invest there. And if you need anything, I'm here for you. I'll connect you with the best people on the island.
yeah, I'd like to learn more about the investing there personally.
Yeah.
I
And
love
come
Puerto
vacation.
Rico.
It's an amazing place.
It is a great place. And it's a shame that that hurricane came through and Hurricane Maria. They retired Maria. The
Yeah.
Hurricane
Yeah.
Maria, my name is retired as a
Yeah.
hurricane because
You
of
you
that
definitely
hurricane.
did some damage, no pun intended.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But it is an amazing country. I haven't been there in several years. Um, but I love the people there and it's beautiful. It's such a
It
beautiful
is.
place.
It
Such a
is. It really,
beautiful
really
place.
is.
So Veronica, you know, I always ask my guests this, guilty pleasure, yours.
Oh gosh. Oh my gosh. I could get a massage every single day of my life. For
Mm.
fun, you would tell me like, let's go like have fun today. I'm like, what spa are we going to? Like, that's all I want to do. That is it. And people are like, what do you do for fun? I just want to relax and enjoy a good massage, a good spa. That's my like one thing. So if you can't find me, I'm sneaking away into a spa and just getting some time to just relax, think, daydream. I daydream every day. And
Oh, I love it.
it just gives me that opportunity to just, dream. And that's what I love to do.
Imagination is key for growth,
Yeah.
that's for sure. Okay, speaking of
And I
growth,
love to travel, that.
I do know that. I do know that. So, speaking of growth, now this is personal to you, Veronica. Nobody, no other people, no family. What are you most excited about for your personal future?
Oh, yeah. So I am gonna say this publicly for the first time. So ever since like again, I went through what I went through with my mom, and I've kind of juggled with my health in the past too, neglected it. You know, I've kind of been on that journey, but this year really hit me, and I'm super excited. Been really like committed to like what's next for my health, and I just signed up for 29029, which with my husband, which I'm super excited about. It's basically hiking a mountain, Mount Whistler. And I think you might remember I had an episode where I hiked and I summited a mountain, and I got to the top, and it was great. All things were great. But then I had an accident where I wasn't prepared physically and mentally, and the hydration and the nutrition wasn't in alignment. but my mind was just like going. I could go, I could push myself. But I realized that there's a balance between preparation. So I'm really excited because I'm gonna hike Mount Whistler in Whistler. We're gonna do 29 on 29 with a bunch of cool people, and it's the equivalent of hiking Mount Everest, summiting Mount Everest. I am ready to just you know take on that challenge, see what happens mentally, physically, preparation wise. It's months of preparing yourself, and it's putting my body through this excruciating experience. But to become who I know I'm meant to be on the other side of it. And so many people are like, you can't go on another mountain. You got hurt the last time. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to let that make me believe that I'm not supposed to push myself to the next limit, to the next level and push my limits. I'm just going to prepare myself this time. I'm going to prepare myself and be in the best state of mind, and make sure that I learn from my previous experience, because like if we're not one with self, right, and have these conversations with ourselves of like, you could do this, then it's so easy to give up. So physically preparation, mental preparation, having, the right nutrition, and excited to challenge my body for 36 hours on a mountain that I have to accomplish within a certain amount of time. And, being able to be in my head and have conversations with myself to keep going. That's one of the things I'm most looking forward to. And it's crazy, Maria, because that it was sold out. And when I decided I want to be, to participate in it, it was sold out. They were telling me it's impossible to get in. It's impossible. I called a friend and I was like, hey, and he's like, what's up? I was like, is this something you can get me into? He's like, and it's not cheap. By the way, you spend a lot of money to get into something that's basically going to push your body to the next level. And it sells out within hours of it usually in a year in advance. And I hit him up and he was like, yeah, it's kind of hard to get in. There's no way I could do so. I'm sorry. He says, but I'll see what I could do. And he calls me back. He's like, yeah, I can't get you in. And I basically said, if it's meant to be, it's going to happen. If God wants me to do so, then it's going to happen. I get a call the next day. He was like, 2 days later, he says, this is like a miracle, Veronica. No one gets in. He says, if you want to do this, you could do it. And in that moment, Maria, there was a moment where I wanted to make excuses. Like, oh, maybe I got to check with my doctor, or maybe this or that. And then I just said, no, I'm going to do this. Because I feel God has just been showing me so many miracles in my life. And I'm like, I've just got to do something to sacrifice. It's like my fasting. It's my way of giving, my way of saying I'm willing to sacrifice myself and put myself through something very challenging, because God has just been so good to me. Life has been so good to me. I want to just, again, push myself to the limits. And, with my faith, I've just been really, really diving in, and got a weekend this week that we're doing something where I'm just locking myself in, just in prayer and state and mindset. But yeah, I'm really making time for me, Maria, really making time to push myself and be uncomfortable in ways that I've never, ever imagined. And it's happening at the end of August. So I hope that you could cheer me on. And
End of August. In
yeah.
8 weeks?
Yeah.
What's the date?
I got the notice before, so I've been, preparing a little bit, but, and here's the thing. Some people do it and they only get halfway. Some people go halfway. Some people will go, all the way. Others go a quarter of the way. Others go 3/4 of the way.
And how many
But,
feet is it?
29,029. Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited.
What's the date?
I think it's August 23rd.
August 23rd. How many people are going on this?
We're like 200 to 300 people.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah. But I have Tony, I have Chef Black Wellness, I have they have coaches. So we're all just, like, I think, like I said, there's preparation now. Now, remember I got in late, so I've got a lot of extra work I have to do. But
Well,
I'm excited. Those things mean like, nutrition, no alcohol, which by the way, I'm so proud of you. I know you've shared that, you've been definitely working on making sure, like, clean living, right? It's just like, it's pretty cool the decisions that we make, or like, okay, I'm going to push myself. I know I could do this. I've been down that path myself. So yeah, it's going to be a combination of nutrition, physical, mental, spiritual. So I'm really excited.
It's a super
I'm
exciting.
nervous. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'd be nervous too and excited.
Yeah.
But God
So
bless.
right now, just like I just have to get moving, and again, get my body moving, get my nutrition in. And
Whew.
Tony's amazing. He's so inspiring. Like my husband is always, pushing himself, and I'm like, you know what? I want to do this with you. And I've always been focused on the business, and I've neglected myself. So I think this new chapter of my life is, I have to love me and put me first. It starts with my faith. It starts with my physical. It starts with my mental, and then I can show up better for others. So I'm super, super excited about. I feel like for the first time in my life, I know where my priorities need to be at. And I'm 45 years old. It took me this long to figure it out, but that's okay. I'm proud of what I've accomplished up until now. I'm excited about what I'm really going to accomplish now that I know a lot more about life and what matters more, and the priorities that I have now.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I wish you all the success in the world to complete the summit, and you'll do what you can, and that's
Yeah.
all good.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going in with an open heart and open mind. Of course, pushing myself to go all the way, but also knowing what my race is. What is my race? What's my way?
Right.
And
It's
while
only
still
our
being
it's only
respectful.
our independent race, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's
Mm,
me versus me. It's not anyone else. It's me versus me up there. And I'm excited to see how far I can push myself while respecting my body, my nutrition, my health. And, I think I'll go as far as God wants me to go.
yeah. Yes, you will. I'm excited for you, but
Thank you,
this has
friend.
been awesome having you again on Be the Solution podcast, my friend. And Veronica is in Orlando, Florida. She also spent some time in Puerto Rico. She has a home there and investment property. So if you have any referrals for her, her team is fabulous. She's got a big team down there, and she also is a leader in EXP and doing all
Thank you.
kinds of things all over the world. So love you, my friend. Great to have
Love
you.
you, babe. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so proud of you.